We're trying to wake ourselves up spiritually and actually wake up our city by creating ripple effects. And so this week, we embark on our Beans and Rice Challenge. Yes. If you want to change the world, you have to be used to being deviant to the mean. And if you're deviant to the mean, you will be perceived as being weird. A classic story, one of my favorite ones out of the New Testament, that shows how people are changing the world, and we can learn from them as we go into this week, comes out of the book of Acts chapter 19. Let's check it out. It says this. Also, many of those who are now believers came, confessing and divulging their practices, and a number of those who had practiced magic arts brought their books together and burned them in the sight of all. And they counted the value of them and found it came to 50,000 pieces of silver. The word of the Lord continued to increase and prevail mightily. So increasing and prevail mightily, ripple effects happened, the world was changing, and we see they did some weird things here that we're going to do. We're going to eat weird. We're going to eat weird this week, and in doing so, we're going to tap into 4 timeless principles that have always been in place for anybody who changed the world. Eating weird involves being in communal. You can eat weird and change the world when it's done in community. Notice in that verse there, it says, a number of those. So it wasn't just one person made a decision. There were other people who came together and said, hey, let's change something right now. And what were they changing? They were changing their spirituality. They realized that we had this spirituality and these black magic art books that are not right. They're not helpful to us. They're not blessing anybody else, giving us spiritual beliefs and spiritual feelings, but it's not changing the world. Let's get rid of these. And this is a hardcore decision. And the only way you can make hardcore decisions normally is if you feel that somebody has your back, that somebody is in it with you. In fact, you can count on when you make a hardcore decision that those people who are not in it with you are going to go the opposite direction and actually might criticize you. Number 2, what happens? What 2 happens when you eat weird, it changes the world when it is sacrificial. It's sacrificial. We looked at this a couple weeks ago. Sacrifice doesn't mean I'm in pain. It doesn't have to mean I'm in pain. It just means I could have had that and I'm not having that, so I can do that. It's a sacrifice. These people in Acts 19 make a massive, massive sacrifice. They take these books and they burn them. We tend to not eliminate anything in our life. We just want to add more to it. We tend to not sacrifice anything. We just want to have more. Part of the issue with why people don't do these sorts of things is we don't understand love. At its heart, isn't all love transactional at its heart? Now, listen, I thought, yeah, that is the normal way to view love because all of love is transactional, the way that our society looks at it. In other words, you make me feel good, and I'm going to make you feel good. Or, you're not making me feel good. Oh, I'm not going to start serving your needs, and then divorce happens. All love is transactional. Oh, wait a minute. If I'm going to give this amount of money, what's my fair share? Outside of understanding who Jesus is, you cannot know love as sacrificial. Love is sacrificial. That's what it is. It's laying down your life. It's not expecting anything in return. It's allowing the ripples of love to go out to other people because you choose to do something different that maybe brings harm to you. And Jesus was the gold standard for this. Every choice that you make that you could have and you're going to choose to go without is a moment of love, of identifying with God. A third thing that happens with these people is their life is integrated. It's integrated. Eating weird is about being integrated. You know, they didn't siphon off their spirituality. They could have said, well, there's my spirituality and then there's the way I make money through these arts. We do this in our society. We segment life. So someone lives however they want from Monday morning to Saturday night, and then they go to Mass, or they go to Crossroads, or they go to temple. It's like, okay, I got my spiritual life, I gotta get myself in order, but everything else, God doesn't really permeate the rest of my world. These are 5 things that need to be integrated, and these are 5 things that God pours resources into, and we have to figure out how to reallocate resources to spiritually grow and bless the world that we're a part of. I'll tell you what, if you want to change the world and you want to grow spiritually, you have to become divergent. You have to lean into all these 5 things that God has blessed us with. So if we take a look at these things, actually, in numerical order in ease, Financial is the easiest thing to do. It's the easiest thing, financial, and that builds in complexity. Spiritual, having the faith, is the hardest thing to do. Having faith to take risks and connect with God is way harder than earning $5. And so the magic is learning how to be divergent and leverage all of these things to gain capital in these areas and to change the world. All this is saying we're going to be divergent this week. And what's going to happen for all of us if we do this? Your spiritual capital will increase and God's pleasure in your life will increase. Fourth and final thing happens is precedental. Precedental. I made that word up, and it works for me. Changing the world, eating weird, means you do something that precedes ongoing patterns. It's precedental. It continues on and on and on. It's not about just what I'm doing right now. It's about doing something that pre-models something that should be multiplying itself, rippling out. It's one of the coolest things about this story is they burn their stuff in community as they sacrifice, as they integrate their whole life together. Look what happens at the end. Look out again. It says, so the word of the Lord continued to increase and prevail mightily. So what they did led to more powerful things happen. The word of the Lord, or the ways of God, or the patterns that make God smile, or the things that should be happening in a world that isn't racked with sin, started to increase and prevail. We're going to make the city of Cincinnati prevail mightily by the word of the Lord this week. We're going to have God's ways come with increasing capacity, with all the capital we can throw in the city of Cincinnati. It starts with our choices this week. Who doesn't want to see the word of the Lord prevail with the children in our city? Who doesn't want to see the word of the Lord prevail with increasing capacity with those who have drug addiction or prone to drug addiction? Who doesn't want to see the word of the Lord prevail with working poverty-stricken moms? Who doesn't want to see that? Who doesn't want to see the word of the Lord prevail in a city that has a rising economy because people are taking care of their dreams and they're growing businesses and giving people jobs and creating wealth? That's the word of the Lord, and we're going to make it prevail.